Do it live.
Do it live!
Literally live.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello, it's Skill Up here. Today I'm joined with the man himself, the one and only Deej, first of his name. Hello sir, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Lovely to see you.
Good to be here.
We met very briefly at E3 this year.
Yes.
Very kind of you to remember, thank you.
Of course.
And we had a lovely dinner last night. And now we're here. I got to play Rise of Iron today, which is just amazing. And now I get to talk to Deej himself about, I guess the hype train pulling out of the station and how it's all going. So how are you feeling at this point with it sort of, what are we now, 2 weeks away?
Yeah, I'm impatient.
You're impatient?
I'm thrilled to talk to you today, but I'm ready to stop talking about Rise of Iron and start listening. That's really the best part. We talk so much about the game. We dance right up to the edge of spoiling the game for you. We want to give you reasons to want to play. We want to give you reasons to be excited. We want to give you things that you can speculate about and wonder about. But really, as you experienced today in the user research lab, the best thing about Destiny is not about us describing the game to you or reading about it on the blog or even seeing it in a video. The best thing about Destiny is rounding a corner and seeing the Plague Lands for the first time and being filled with that sense of wonder and dread and excitement, and that's something that we like to save for the player.
Sure.
So it's going to be awesome to watch people play the game live. It's going to be awesome to watch people describe their favorite moments in YouTube videos or to read war stories on the forum. That's when we really understand what we've built, and that's when we understand the true nature of what Destiny is. Mm-hmm. And that begins up on September 20th, and that's the big payoff.
Exciting. So, I mean, TTK, awesome expansion.
Yeah.
Everyone loved it. Mm-hmm. Would you say that this is is it a reinforcement of what we saw before, more of, or do you think it takes some really sort of, big strides in a different direction? You know what I mean? Like, where would you find that balance? Because obviously we're getting some more of the same. Obviously we're getting some new stuff, but where do you think that balance lands?
I think the Taken King was definitely a reinvention of the player experience.
How so?
We learned a lot from the Guardians in the first year of Destiny. People shooting into loot caves, people, decrypting engrams that came back to them at lower levels than they thought. It's like
all these beautiful experiences.
I'll
take that,
is it this?
And then I'll get this
is
one.
Is it this? Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So we stopped that from happening. And with the Taken King, the narrative was a lot about. We've listened to people describe their player experience, and here's what we're doing differently. And we were talking about the questification of Destiny. We were talking about quest lines that would lead people to very specific weapons and rewarding the time that you spent in the game a lot better. I think we even took that a step further with the April update, where Destiny became more rewarding than it had ever been. Even solo players had a path to max light. There were many different ways to increase your power, many different ways where you could anticipate specific rewards for specific activities. So I feel like the game is in a very good state right now where the players can anticipate when they go out and do something awesome and fun, they're going to get something specific that they crave. So we don't have to reinvent that progression system or that player experience. What we can do now is tell more stories in that world. And that's really what people have said to us ever since The Taken King came out. The overarching narrative hasn't been change this or change that or fix this or get rid of that. It's been give us more content. 2016 has been marked by a very loud conversation with the community in which they said, give us more content. And we said, we're working on it, but it has to hit a certain bar of quality for us to be able to call it Destiny. Now, certainly, I don't want to discount anybody out there who is going on the forum or on Twitter or even making their own videos saying, here's how I think Destiny should be different. We're always listening to that. And we always have a very sympathetic ear to that stuff because that tells us who's playing our game and what they think. And any entertainer wants to know about their audience. And we're very fortunate that our audience comes and knocks on our door and says, here's what I think about Destiny. And we're like, great, cool, thank you. Thank you for playing. Thank you for caring. Thank you for taking time out of your day to talk to us about how you think this could be better. And that's really a luxurious position for any company to be in. So we love that. But with Rise of Iron, we have an opportunity to tell a different type of story. So when you ask if we're going off in a different direction, thematically, I think we are. I think even if you listen to the music in Rise of Iron, it's a little less spooky and dreadful, and it's a little bit more noble and hopeful.
It is.
Different stories, different heroes call for different themes and different moods, and the Plaguelands ain't the Cosmodrome. You're in old Russia, but this is not a spaceport. This is a landscape ravaged by an outbreak of something that we don't completely understand. There are times it can be sort of hideous and beautiful, certainly not grotesque, but definitely mysterious and oddly threatening.
Feels very intense as well. I mean, I remember being on patrols in other areas, and it's fairly chilled out. Whereas when I was in the Plaguelands, I was like, okay, this is tough. This is a much more intense challenge than I'm used to.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little sort of step up.
Yeah.
But coming back to that point you made earlier about content, right?
Yeah.
So obviously this is great, and we've played through a good chunk of it today, and absolutely love it. And there's a whole heap of stuff after that we haven't even seen.
Yeah.
Long quest lines, the whole PvP experience which we get to experience, raids, etc. But there's going to come a point when obviously people are done with that content, or at least they've done the larger chunk of it, right?
Sure.
My question is sort of how have you guys set yourselves up to be able to continue to feed that hunger into the future? Because we all know there's a sequel coming in the future, but that's a little way, maybe, who knows, not confirmed. But, but let's just say there is, and let's just say it's sometime later on. How are you guys going to be continuing to deliver on this need of more content?
One of the things that we're doing that I'm extremely grateful for is we are putting the tools into your hands to entertain yourselves with the people on your friends list. Clan support is coming online. Private matches are becoming a thing. I know that not everybody that plays this game loves the Crucible or desires that experience, but you can do something completely fun and whimsical inside the Crucible now with private matches, with control over which maps you play on, which game types you enjoy, who your opponents are. People can do fun-loving things with their friends. They can host hardcore tournaments. Clans can meet each other on a field of battle that they choose for a friendly showdown to see, who's got the better clan, or let's just, enjoy each other's combat styles and see how we play as opposing teams. I think that will create something that can be very self-perpetuating in the community. That's the way it was for me as a clan overlord playing Bungie games previously, is we created our own action. We built our own alliances. We hosted our own tournaments. We weren't trying to become prize fighters who could quit our jobs and play video games full time, but when we did go in there, we wanted that tribal intrigue of dueling houses meeting in the game to settle some scores. At the same time, we have a new raid. We've got a lot of content. There's going to be brand new people joining this community through Destiny the Collection.
True.
There's going to be people raising their hands in your favorite internet forum saying, I just started playing this game. What was it like to play the raids in year one? Because I don't see a lot of people inviting me to go play the Vault of Glass now. Gear down, take those people out. Or, when we say become legend, it's all about having an audience to appreciate your achievements. For somebody to look at you and say, man, you're amazing. Because if you go into the Vault of Glass with your Rise of Iron gear and your artifacts and your ornaments and you're melting down Atheon in record time, these people are going to think that you're a god.
True.
And that's one of the things about the community is the community makes the game endlessly replayable for itself. And there's a lot of content in Destiny now.
Sure.
So,
hey, I'm really interested in the whole matchmaking thing. Very controversial decision that you guys took early on to not have matchmaking for some of the core game experiences like raids or nightfalls. And it's always split the community. And I'm really interested to hear, now looking back on that decision, the fact that it still exists in the way that it does, do you feel like it's still the right decision to not have matchmaking for those experiences?
I think the invitation to play a raid is a very specific one. And I think we as entertainers need to cultivate the right experience for our players. And when we invite someone to play a raid, there are certain requisites in play there. You have to be geared up. Your light has to be significant enough to take down the enemies that we're serving up. You have to have a group of people that are willing to talk to you and work with you. You have to be able to communicate with these people. You have to be patient enough to understand that we're going to problem solve together, and we're going to solve these puzzles, and we're going to solve these riddles, and we might have to stop and explain these things to the new person in our fire team. I'm sorry that I'm casting you in the role of the noob.
I'm ready.
This ain't radio. This is television. So a raiding party is a very specific thing. And at this time, we don't believe that matchmaking can accomplish that. We think that people who make an expressed intent to finish that experience together is an important thing. And the social activity of finding people to play this game with that complement your fighting style and are willing to talk to you is a very important part of the process. Destiny is a social game. There's a reason why you're not by yourself when you go to the tower. There's a reason why we bring you into Congress with other Guardians in a public event. There's reasons why a strike takes you through a few public spaces before you get to the final boss, because we want you to have connections with other players. We want you to cross their paths. I read feedback from players all the time that tell us essentially they're tired of playing on a Crucible team where people have quit, or they don't want to have to join a game in progress to heal that experience because other people have quit. Now that's an 8-minute Crucible match. You've played raids.
Of course, too many.
Do you think, can you ever play too many raids?
Certainly my fiance thinks I can, but that's a whole other story.
Okay. Well,
right.
I'm not a marriage counselor, so I'm going to leave that for you to sort out.
Off camera.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. I'll give you my card. But as somebody who's played a lot of raids, if we threw you onto a raiding party, 2 people didn't have a microphone. One person quit in the first 20 minutes because they didn't realize it was going to be a long-form activity, and you had 2 other guys who were talking to you. Do you think you could finish?
Generally speaking, no.
No.
Generally speaking, no.
So then the raids stop being this amazing activity that is my favorite experience in the game and this mind-blowing thing that I never experienced in a shooter, and starts being this broken thing that you can't finish because nobody wants to cooperate and the Destiny community is a frustrating group of people.
True.
That's not the narrative we want. The narrative we want is for the people who take the effort to make connections with their fellow Guardians and build a team that they're going to earn some really awesome stuff. Now, some of the original requests for matchmaking in raids was, I want to reach max light. I want to be all powerful. I want my number to be up at the top of the scale. And while we weren't able to deliver that through Vault of Glass or Crota's End for the solo player, what we've done is build pathways into the game for the solo player to be able to earn those things for themselves through engrams or through the Crucible or through whatever it is that they enjoy to play, things like Prison of Elders even, so that every type of player in Destiny can get the satisfaction of evolving their Guardian to the heights.
Tell me, coming on a similar vein, I'm really interested to sort of talk about the community that's sprung up around Destiny,
Sure.
Because it's quite remarkable in many respects.
It is.
It's very rusted on. It's very passionate. And I'm just wondering, what do you think has been the secret sauce that's led to that? Besides your leadership, of course. Other than that, what do you think has been the factor that's made this incredible community?
Well, certainly you'll never find me taking credit for the Destiny community. I serve them, I embolden them, I enable them, I try to introduce them to each other. I think the Destiny community is a great partnership between a player and the developers. The developers created an inviting, beautiful world where people would feel like a hero. When you cast someone in the role of the hero, I think that has an impact on the way they see themselves in the game. We don't ever ask the Guardians to do anything grotesque or reprehensible. I think everything that you do in Destiny makes you feel like a badass, and noble and brave. And these are all great words to describe a person. Every Guardian, throughout the course of their own story and their own adventure, has these moments in these public events, even really early on in the game. They have these moments in these public events where they start to see the other players of the game as their ally and as people that will help them overcome their objectives. Even if you're going into the Crucible to fight each other in combat, that's training. That's a celebration of the healthy competitive spirit that propels any hero forward. And when people actually do come together on forums or even in a party chat, the conversation is about how can we work together to solve these problems? How can we work together so that we can all evolve and progress? Do you know where the new gold chest is? I have a great way where we can get, calcified fragments. Everybody has something that they can help each other acquire. When we take a look at all of the words that are used in conversation on Bungie.net, the one word that is the boldest and the largest in that word cloud is the word need. Every Guardian needs something. And oftentimes what a guardian needs is an ally or a teammate. And I think that collaborative spirit, that cooperative culture has brought together a community of people who love magic and heroism and beautiful art that makes them feel like a true badass. And the culture that has resulted from that is one of inclusion and patience and teamwork and camaraderie. So I think the developers tried to create a very specific type of social interaction, and we were very lucky that the right type of people found their way into this game. And the leadership in this community has placed positivity above, vitriol or, cutthroat. I think everybody realizes that they can share an audience with each other, and that audience would benefit from having so many different voices talking to them instead of saying, well, this is my group and you're an idiot, so why should anybody watch any of your videos?
Sure.
I mean, the people who lead this Destiny community, people like yourselves, or Jez, people who come in and meet us, they're good, cool people. And, we've just been very fortunate to have a whole network of community managers. It's not just me and Cosmo. Anybody who creates content on the internet that deals with Destiny, who listens to their audience and interacts with those people and has a relationship with those people, they're community managers too. And we've really benefited from a strong network of those people to keep the Guardians happy or entertained or well-fed or, earning their legendary marks, whatever they need.
Sure.
Need,
exactly. So tell me, I'm really interested, because we had a bit of a discussion about this earlier, but the decision to not have any kind of PvP in the open world, so to speak, what was the driver behind that decision? And would you ever look, because I'm conscious of what you've just said then, but would you ever look to revisit that decision and have some kind of PvP in the open world? And if not, why not?
If somebody was going to do this, they would be a much smarter person than I.
Okay.
The social designers, like I said, the social designers that created the world that the Guardians share made some extremely smart decisions. Because when I first came here, I know what online communities are like. I've played a lot of Bungie games. I've been a willing combatant in a number of different online communities. I know how it can be great. I know how it can go bad. And when they explained to me a Bungie action game, a shooter, where you would always play the game in close proximity to other people, I used to worry about patrolling the Cosmodrome and, have some troll of a sniper up on his favorite bluff just ventilating helmets as they touched down in the landing zone,
Yeah, that sounds pretty familiar.
Just playing whack-a-mole with noobs,
Sure.
That's not the type of game that I would want to play. That's not the type of community I would want to preside over. And I'm glad that what we did was put all of the Guardians together on the same team as a unified force for good. Like I said, there is the Crucible, and tempers flare and heads butt in the Crucible, and there's plenty of arguments about, how many games should people be winning, and, how powerful should different weapons be, and all of those things. And that's always going to be a welcome fixture of that experience. But when you're out in the wild and you're patrolling and there's Fallen or there's Hive or Vex or Cabal, on the loose in the wastelands, every time you see another Guardian, you think, there's a person who can help me. And that has been a crucial component of the Destiny culture. So, will the social designers or the gameplay designers at Bungie turn us against each other someday? I don't know. I have no idea. But when they do, I'm pretty sure that they'll understand the essence of the Destiny player experience, and they'll be true to that, because they've created something very special, and I can't imagine that they want to undo that in favor of something more hostile.
Sure.
We love our community. We love the way they interact with each other and help each other and go raiding together or form up into Iron Banner teams, because Iron Banner has been training for this horrible eventuality that you know about. A secret that you now have to keep from your own audience.
I don't know any secrets at this point, Deej. I don't know what you're talking
about. I love the
man.
fact that you're in my world right now. For the next 2 weeks,
That's
you know what it looks like at the top of Fellwinter Peak, and you can't tell them anything.
It's not very nice, dude. I feel bad right now. I feel like I'm holding back. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Imagine me. I don't want to spoil the story for everyone. I want to give you things to be excited about and to wonder about so that you can experience them for yourselves.
I can tell you it's very good. I will tell you that. Very, very good. Thumbs up, big time.
Cool.
I'm interested just to hear a little bit about Archons Forge from your perspective, because that's I think it's the big ticket new sort of feature.
Yeah.
A lot of the other stuff we've seen before, it's just more good stuff, so to speak.
Yeah.
Whereas Archon is very new. So tell us a little bit about that and why it's come about.
Yeah. Actually, this gentleman over here who's aiming the Hawk Moon at my head tells me that's our last question. So it's actually a pretty good note to go out on. Whenever we have a new adventure in Destiny, it's an opportunity for us to do new things. If you think about some of the adventures we've had in the past, there have been different ways for you to progress your character. You remember when Etheric Light came online. You remember when Infusion came online. You remember when Chroma came online. Now we have ornaments. Anytime we update the game, here's something new. Here's a new way to make your character more powerful. Here's a new way to express yourself creatively. And Archons Forge is one of those great things where here's a new playable activity. Think about the first time you played Trials of Osiris.
Yep.
Think about the first time you played Court of Oryx. These are new activities where you can enjoy some combat against your enemies with your friends in a way that really embraces the themes of the story that we're telling. In a way that the campaign and the story gives you currency you can spend in this other moment. And it's going to be home to that flaming iron battle axe, that spectacle weapon that is the ultimate expression of an Iron Lord's power. And it's just a great place where players can go and enjoy that endgame ritual. They can take that character that has played through the story campaign, and when the final cutscene plays out, your story begins. And things like chasing down the artifacts and embracing the power of the Iron Lords, things like Archons Forge, things like exploring the Plague Lands and all of its deadly secrets. These are where your story begins. So playing through the campaign of Destiny is the beginning. We give you a nice downhill accelerator, and when you hit that ramp, you're enjoying your own tale.
Nice. Well, as I said, I played through a good chunk of it, and it is fantastic. I'm sure everyone who loves it, or at least Destiny fans, and hopefully new fans are going to like it as well. But Deej, it's been an absolute pleasure. Fantastic meeting you.
You as well.
Really hope we meet again in the future. Best of luck in the lead up.
Thank you very much.
Cannot wait to get my hands on it. Cannot wait to hear what the community has to say.
Well, cool. That's why we come into work every day.
Exactly.
All
Take
right.
care, everyone. Thanks again, Deej. Bye-bye.